I'm Stephen Gaetz, a professor at York University and director of the Canadian Observatory on Homelessness. Well, we've learned a lot about how young people become homeless, and it's not an event exactly, it's more a process where people become disengaged from families. We know that for most young people who become homeless, it's family conflict that's at the root of their homelessness, but also that a high percentage experience physical, sexual, and emotional abuse. So those interpersonal factors are really key in producing a lot of homelessness. But there's a backdrop that we also have to understand, which is that there are structural factors that make it hard. Young people today can't earn enough income to get their own housing. Many young people live in poverty, or their families live in poverty. Some young people face discrimination. That means it's hard to stay in school or get housing or employment. Young people who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered are more likely to be homeless than straight youth, because homophobia is a factor that operates in our society. It means that young people can't stay at home because of problems in their household or in their schools. We have to look at the fact that we produce youth homelessness through failures in some of our institutions. Our child protection laws and practices in Canada are quite outdated, where we expect in Ontario young people to leave care when they're 18, even though it's really hard for an 18-year-old to get their own place and earn money to live independently. So there's a lot of factors that go into explaining youth homelessness that go beyond just that individual and the conflicts they have with their family. It really depends on the community. Some communities have designated shelters, emergency shelters for young people. Some young people sleep out of doors, don't necessarily want to be in emergency shelters because they might feel unsafe or overcrowded. But a lot of young people who are homeless never show up in those situations at all. They wind up couch surfing, sleeping at friends or family members' places because they can't go home. They've either been kicked out or it's not safe. And so they find places to be. But those situations are by nature temporary, right? You can't stay at your friend's house forever, generally speaking. On any given night, there are we know that minimally there's 7,000 young people who experience homelessness. But that's just young people we're aware of who are in shelters or use day programs. The actual number is much greater because many young people who experience homelessness are couch surfing, staying with friends or relatives, and don't necessarily come to the attention of people providing emergency services. Too often we take solutions developed for adults and apply them to young people by just changing the age mandate. So we create like Homelessness Junior. And we really need to understand that all our responses to youth homelessness have to be based on the needs of developing adolescents and young adults. Youth homelessness is very different from adult homelessness in terms of the causes, in terms of the experience of homelessness, and therefore the solutions must be different as well. Some of the key differences is that many young people are experiencing cognitive and physical development that may affect their ability to make decisions and do things. Other factors that are important is that most young people who become homeless have never had any experience running their own house, dealing with a landlord, shopping, getting doctor's appointments. So there's a lot of these things here that are really important to understand. Well, I think what we need to do in Canada is we have to reimagine our response to youth homelessness. There are three basic things you can do to address homelessness. You can prevent it from happening in the first place. You have to have emergency response because things are going to go bad no matter how good your prevention is. And then we need good models of accommodation and supports. To really solve youth homelessness, certain things have to be in place. You need leadership. You need leadership in the community to say we're going to do it differently. You need collaboration. So that means between levels of government, it means funders, it means service providers, it means the community. Everybody has to work together. We have to not compete. We have to pull together, right? And move forward with a plan to end youth homelessness. We can't just put it on the side as a side dish to a plan to end homelessness. It needs its own dedicated focus because we know that the needs of young people are different than adults. And also, if we don't take care of youth homelessness today, we're going to be dealing with chronic homelessness tomorrow.